Great to have you with us. You're watching the news here on NDTV. We'll get you a roundup of all the top stories from across the country over the next half hour, but also specifically focusing on the Justice for Kriti campaign, which we here on NDTV have in fact been running since morning, specifically asking for an exemplary punishment for the accused who has been finally arrested for murdering this young 24-year-old girl inside her PG in Bengaluru. But first up, let's take a look at the headlines. Horrific murder of a young girl in Bengaluru shocks the nation. 24-year-old was stabbed to death by a man who entered her PG. 4 days on, the man has finally been arrested from Madhya Pradesh. Yet another encounter in Jammu and Kashmir. One soldier killed, 4 others injured in exchange of fire. As per the army, 1 terrorist has been killed. Encounter near line of control in Kupwara. Niti Aayog Council meeting convenes. Focus of the meeting on laying out the roadmap for Viksit Bharat at 2047. Prime Minister Modi chairs the meeting. Chief Ministers in attendance. Amid opposition protest, Bengal Chief Minister attends the meet. Several India bloc CMs boycott the meeting. Sources indicate that Prime Minister Modi is going to visit Ukraine soon and that the visit is likely in August. This will be PM Modi's first visit to Kiev since the Ukraine war. And day one of Paris Olympics, Paris glitters as the Olympic opening ceremony kicks off. Indian shooters eye historic medal tally. Right, our top focus, the shocking murder of a young girl in Bengaluru has in fact sent ripples across the nation. Finally, after 4 days of hunting for the accused, the police have finally managed to arrest him. He's been arrested from Madhya Pradesh, but the police, in fact, the Bengaluru Police Commissioner has gone on record to say that the motive for this murder is still not clear. But what exactly had happened that evening in Bengaluru at that paying guest house has in fact sent shockwaves. The video on your screens there right now, which shows the man who entered the premises and was seen stabbing this 24-year-old girl repeatedly. That entire sequence had in fact been captured on CCTV. In fact, the police had been studying that CCTV footage in order to identify the accused. Kriti Kumari, the 24-year-old girl, was originally from Bihar. She was staying in that guest house and as we mentioned, she had been stabbed to death. That horrific entire incident captured in that nearly 3-minute long video, which we have accessed, which the police also in fact studied in order to nab that accused. Initially, the man was not identified very clearly, and which is why it took the police some time. He had in fact slipped out of the paying guest house within minutes of stabbing that girl. There were a few other women who lived in that paying guest house who had also raised the alarm shortly after. Remember, the National Commission of Women chairperson Rekha Sharma has also taken cognizance of the entire incident and written to the Karnataka DGP, and NCW had in fact been raising its voice in order to seek justice for the girl as well. And here on NDTV, we have in fact been asking for an exemplary punishment for this accused who has in fact been finally nabbed, finally arrested for murdering Kriti Kumari, and that entire incident being captured, shocking incident being captured on CCTV footage, which we have in fact accessed. This brings into focus the entire question of safety for women in our cities. This could of course happen to anybody, considering the fact that there are a lot of young girls who come out of their houses in order to live in other cities for their studies, for jobs. So what kind of security apparatus is in fact being provided for them? There clearly needs to be another such incident, unfortunately, once again brings this entire issue into focus about safety for women. And despite several measures which have of course been taken by police teams, law enforcement agencies across the country, there seems to be a lot which needs to be done. Citizen awareness also is another aspect which needs to be looked into. Citizen awareness and alertness, which needs to, of course, be also there in order for people to come out and help the woman there or women in such situations. We are also, of course, opening our phone lines for you to call in and share your views on this entire incident. The accused has finally been arrested, but what we are asking here is that there should be an exemplary punishment for the man who has been caught brutally attacking this girl. We can in fact see the way he attacked her, stabbed her multiple times, and this incident, of course, taking place in Bengaluru, in the IT capital of the country. And we, of course, are asking questions from the authorities as well. On the show, I'm also joined by Ms. Nirmal Kaur, former IPS officer and former DGP of Jharkhand. Ms. Kaur, thank you so much for joining us here on NDTV. What are your first thoughts when you see such an incident playing out? What does that say about safety for women in metro cities?
Metro and Bengaluru has always been considered one of the safest cities for women. And if it can happen in Bengaluru, it can happen anywhere. And this also shows the stark kind of neglect. The PGs are not registered. There are no guidelines for them. There are no standard operating procedures. There's not even a control on the gate, because when we saw some visuals, the grill was wide open for anyone, even on the street, to walk in and walk out as they pleased. So, there was no control over ingress and egress. There are so many lapses, very obvious lapses, and the girl's life could have been saved even with very minimal basic, if girls are staying there, you need more care. All PGs need to be regulated, but the one with girls need to be even more, strictly the SOPs need to be followed. There's no police patrolling. He just comes, kills her, and walks away. And I think it is also the apathy of the other girls, because within half an hour or 1 hour, if she was taken to the hospital, this bleeding, maybe she could have been saved. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just... And also, I want to say that girls also have to be sensitized. The girls are not aware, it seems as if she knew him. Maybe a close friend, maybe an intimate partner.
Yeah, it seems that the entry was friendly. That's what it looks like in the video. Ma'am, please hold your thoughts. Yes. Let me come back to you. I'm also joined by a caller, Captain Jaspal, who is joining us on the phone line. Yes, Captain Jaspal, what are your views on this shocking incident which we have been covering from Bengaluru?
Good morning to you. I'm fortunate to get the opportunity. You see, situation as far as the lady security is concerned, after a girl attains puberty, chili spray gun, chastity belt, any other weapon, and if need be, they should be armed with a pistol. That is number one. Number two, there should be a law that the perpetrator shall recover 5 crore rupees from his portion of assets, and under a fast track court, they should be hanged. There is no other way out. Nobody can provide security. Girls have to be strong, and they have to be absolutely weaponized so that anyone who touches them fears death. Thank you.
Captain Jaspal, do you think there should be exemplary punishment for this accused who has finally been arrested?
He should be hanged. Property worth 5 crores should be taken out from his share and given to this family.
Right.
The girls have to be proactive. No police, no society will protect them. Because boys are of a very poor caliber, standard and quality. All the institutions of the government have collapsed. Nowhere you can go and get the justice. That is why you find such horrific incidents taking place. Kindly all girls to protect themselves, move in groups and have a number which send signals simultaneously to our all well-wishers.
Right. Captain Jaspal, thank you so much for calling in on this very important topic that we are in fact covering. Going back to Nirmal Kaur, ma'am, as you were saying that there are clearly some glaring lapses in safety as far as the paying guest house is concerned. Also, citizen awareness and alertness in terms of how they should react immediately if they witness such a shocking incident taking place, and also about, certain safeguards that women themselves can take. But in terms of safety, where the law and order of the city comes in, this is, of course, the police are still finding out what was the motive behind this incident. But in terms of enforcement and security, is there a certain SOP which needs to be laid out for the guest houses, paying guest house, hostels, because this took place at a women's hostel? So
Definitely.
How else can we make it more secure?
Definitely, we need SOPs and guidelines, not only from the police, even regulations from the local municipal authorities on how these PGs are to be, how they are to be opened and what is going to regulate them. They are apparently minting money, but they are not providing any security. They don't even have a guard. They don't have a register at the entry. Nothing. You just walk in and walk out as if it is a railway platform. That kind of a thing is not desirable. They should be strict. The environment should be such that anybody with bad intentions should not be able to get in so easily and get out so easily. And also, girls, I think, need to be sensitized. Sensitized that, there's a lot of apathy in our system. If girl is friendly with a boy and the boy starts stalking her or, kind of forcing himself on her, if she goes to the police would say, no. Why did you get friendly with him in the first place? It is you made your bed, now lie in it.
In fact,
that kind of apathy is not good.
Yes, in fact, a lot of unanswered questions also in this case. We need to know whether or not they actually knew each other, whether she had in fact raised an alarm earlier about him or not. We will come back to all those aspects. Nirmal Kaur, please stay with us. I'm also joined on the phone line by another caller, Jonathan from Kolkata. Yes, Jonathan, please go ahead and share your views on this.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, I'm Jonathan speaking from Kolkata, and I'm really shocked. I'm really shocked as to what I'm seeing right now, that this man, he just enters into a girl's PG accommodation, be it for whatever reason, whether he's the ex-boyfriend or the current boyfriend, it's okay, but you just can't enter a girl's PG accommodation and stab a woman in cold blood. I mean, I don't understand, where are the security guards, and if this is a paying guest accommodation in Bangalore, I mean, where are the people? Okay, fine. I'm just hearing that. I'm seeing on television that there were some girls who were also inside, and they gave a shouting alarm.
Yes.
But where was the security guard? Where is the owner of this paying guest accommodation? How can you allow a person just enter into any accommodation, that too for a girl? I'm sorry, ma'am, but here in Kolkata, if anybody does something like this, he will be hammered to death. Our Bengalis will kill him to death. So I'm a bit
right.
shocked.
We'll of course have to see what is the right form of justice which needs to be meted out in this case, Jonathan. But you are from Kolkata. This is happening in a city like Bengaluru.
Every time we open the television, some girl is raped, either some girl is murdered in cold blood. I mean, this is becoming too much right now. Our daughters are not even safe in our own country.
Right. As a person who is living...
Anybody is just entering into the building and just killing somebody.
Exactly.
How can this
Jonathan, Jonathan, as a person who's living in Kolkata, of course, and there are lots of young men, women for that matter, who look for jobs outside as well, several of them even coming to Bengaluru, the IT capital of the country, in order to study or look for a job. So how concerned are you as a citizen now that, if you have a friend going over to work in any of the other cities or even coming to a city in Kolkata to study and work, the security for women in guest houses or hostels or otherwise also in these metro cities, how concerned are you about that today?
Ma'am, I'm very much concerned, ma'am. I'm very, very much concerned because my first and foremost, my heartfelt condolences to the family. And as an Indian citizen, I suggest that whoever this person is, and if he's caught, I mean, he should be hanged to death within 24 hours. This has to be an example for all the other people, for all the men around who have this intentions of killing their ex-wives or wives or girlfriends or whatever it is. Just shoot them down.
Right. We are not encouraging any violence on this channel. That is not the answer. Jonathan, thank you so much for calling us. We are, of course, not encouraging any violence on this channel, but what we are looking at is whether there should be an exemplary punishment meted out to the accused in this case. Nasir Abdullah from Delhi also joins us on the show on the phone line. Yes, Nasir. What are your thoughts in terms of what we are seeking, that there should be an exemplary punishment in this case?
Well, I was listening to the lady who was the DIG ex, Mrs. Kaur, that, it should be this and it should. This is something that will happen anywhere in the world. This is an emotional issue. It is a crime of actually passion. And somebody was saying, wherever the guards, nobody can stop you. If a man has made up his mind, he will wait for the girl to come outside the gate. He will attack her on the road. He'll attack her in the auto rickshaw. He will attack her after she comes out of the metro. So what I need to say is that this is a crime of actually passion, and you cannot do anything about it except to tell the young men around that if a lady doesn't want to be with you, accept it, learn to deal with it, don't kill her. She does not owe you to be faithful to you and to be your whatever consort for the rest of your life. If it's not working out, it's not working out. Please, this is a message that needs to be spread to the men, that do not get overworked about a lady who does not want to be with you anymore, period. That is it. Otherwise, you cannot control all this. I mean, you can be attacked anywhere. So that is what I think. And you don't have to blame the guards outside and the PG accommodation, people. That is pure rubbish. You cannot blame the people who give out accommodation to the PG girls or boys. That's it. They need to spread the word to the young boys who think no end of themselves.
Right. Mr. Abdullah, thank you so much. That is another perspective to look at, that, while we always look at how we can be more secure, what else can women do, but sensitization of men also is an important aspect that needs to be looked into. We'll also take another caller right now who's calling us from Delhi, Sudhir Kumar Rana. Yes, Mr. Rana, go ahead and share your views.
Yeah. Good afternoon to everybody. This is really very shocking, and every now and then we see that this is being repeated. Sometime Bengaluru or Karnataka or whatever city. But the important thing is this: the people, those who are watching it from a distance, nobody comes forward to help the victim, because they are afraid of being harassed by the police later on. So I don't know, there has to be some law that a witness or whosoever person coming forward to help to save the life of an innocent person or whatsoever. I mean, I may call her innocent, but the real findings would only come after the police, intervenes and find out the truth. But this is something really shocking. Immediately there has to be some law on this. That's all I want to convey to entire country. I mean, somebody has lost a daughter. Yes. I don't know whether she was the only earning hand or she was a student. I've yet to come to know. But there has to be some law on this.
That's right. Mr. Rana,
thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling us. Mr. Rana there from Delhi calling in on this very shocking case that we have in fact been covering. If our viewers are just joining us, for those who are just joining us on the show, we are carrying out a campaign here on NDTV seeking an exemplary punishment in this particular case, where a young girl, a 24-year-old girl, was stabbed to death inside her paying guest house in Bengaluru, and that entire incident had in fact been captured on video on the CCTV cameras there. This man has finally been arrested after 4 days since that incident. But a shocking case which shows, once again, brings in focus the loopholes that remain as far as security and safety for women is concerned, especially even in metro cities, even in big cities where we would imagine that the law and order situation and security is much better. But unfortunately, such cases once again act as a reminder of how that isn't the case. Ms. Kaur, Nirmal Kaur, former DGP of Jharkhand, still with us. Ms. Kaur, you also heard lots of our callers expressing their anguish, their concern about how, the safety for women is once again something which leaves a lot still to be done in that respect, in terms of what more, even as a society, we can do. You heard the gentleman there calling from Delhi saying that while we are always guiding our girls, it's also about sensitizing our boys, sensitizing the men, in order to know that they cannot get away with any sort of violence. This is of course an extreme case, but any sort of violence against women, which seems to be, which has in fact been displayed in a very shocking manner in this particular instance.
Also, we need to sensitize our law enforcement authorities, the police and others. Like in India, the crime of stalking is no crime. It's laughed at. I mean, it's such a minor thing, nobody even notices. We need to, every time a girl complains, we need to maintain logs. We need to say, when, I mean, this cannot be that for one-off if he's, I mean, unless he's he looks like a psychopathic personality. But there must have been something foregoing to that she rejected his advances or whatever. That should have been recorded in the police, in a book, the stalking register or whatever they could maintain. And every time, even if he calls her, a log should be made so that, there's enough to deter him. And
right.
Even if it cannot be deterred, at least there is a history and, the crime, I mean, we need exemplary deterrence in this case. An exemplary punishment which will really deter the, this kind of free, very,
right.
very, cheap kind of criminals.
Any sort of incident or even cases of harassment cannot be overlooked as a minor incident. Hold that thought, Ms. Kaur. I'm also joined by another caller on the phone line, and this is from Bengaluru, Akira. This is, you're calling from the city where this incident has taken place. What do you have to say?
Hello?
Yes. Akira, go ahead.
Ma'am, I'm seeing this for last 2 days on the TV. Actually, it's so horrible. Now, that man who stabs that girl and runs away, after some time there are 3 girls coming down and just not helping her at all. That is also not a good thing. You people are not showing it now.
Mm-hmm.
But what is happening? They come and they're just trying to call someone and all. She's crying out for help and she's bleeding. They could have taken her out and taken her to an ambulance or to a hospital somewhere.
Mm. Right.
And even for after this incident, I'm sure this girl won't come forward for to give their witness account. And when the case goes on, that is why such people go scot-free.
Mm-hmm. Right. We'll, of course, have to wait and see. I'm sure the women who were seen in that video, who came later after that horrific act actually took place, they are, of course, some of the prime witnesses that the police will be talking to. Akira, since you're calling from Bengaluru, what do you have to say about the fact that this sort of an incident is taking place in a women's hostel, in a paying guest house? Is there anything that you would want to say to the Karnataka government at this point in time on how they can make these establishments and otherwise also the city of Bengaluru much safer for women?
The Karnataka government, what they should do is when they someone is giving out that PG accommodation, because it's going on for a long time in Karnataka, especially in Bangalore. They should see that that owner comes forward and gives all his details, and that he does have that. Anyway, CCTV camera is there, but then there should be some alarm system, some guard, someone. When only girls are staying there, this man who has given this out PG accommodation, that man should be booked also.
Right, Akira. Thank you so much for joining us on the phone line. Akira, they're calling from...
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you. Akira, they're calling from Bengaluru. I also have Raj Rishi from Gurgaon calling in on the show. Yes, Rishi, please go ahead. Raj Rishi, if you can hear me, thank you for calling us here on NDTV. Do you think there should be an exemplary penalty being meted out to this accused who's been arrested?
I feel that the key to this problem.
Yes, please go ahead.
The key to this problem lies with women themselves. We know what kind of a government setup we have. The government takes action at a very late. The women have to be careful while mixing with the opposite sex. Women should not give their address and phone number at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, we don't know at the moment. Raj Rishi, thank you so much for calling us. No, we do not know in this case. We do not want to sit on judgment on this.
I know women will feel bad about this,
thank you so much for calling us. We do not want to sit on judgment on a deceased person. We do not know what exactly were the circumstances in this particular case, whether that girl knew that person or how she knew him and what kind of communication had happened between these two. So we don't want to sit on judgment on any person who's specifically in this case a deceased person, or when we don't have her family members coming forward with any additional information about this person. So we don't want to sit on judgment on that. But I thank all the callers who have called in today. But the final question now to Nirmal Kaur. Nirmal Kaur, what is the way forward from here? Okay, I am being told that we have completely run out of time, so we'll have to take that conversation forward another day. Nirmal Kaur, thank you so much for joining us here on the show. But for the moment, we will head into a short break. Stay tuned to NDTV.